Alright, well, here we go. This is it. The Loud House. The movie. I don't think I'm gonna title this video that. I'm probably just gonna title it the Loud House movie review. I just wanted to do that just because I do it all the time during my damn reviews. But yeah, this is it. This is the thing that we've been waiting for an entire year for, basically. Well, technically, I guess 3. 3 years. Yeah, something like that. But in reality, it was about a year ago that this was officially announced, like, hey, it's finally coming. Around this time last year was whenever we got the news that we were getting a movie, and it was official, like actually official. It's said and done, we're getting a movie. Before, it was just basically a bunch of rumors before. But yeah, heading into this movie, I wasn't really expecting much. I had very low expectations. I definitely was not a big fan of the plots heading into it, for sure. There's a lot of parts where I thought they were way too fantasy-oriented, and it was very, very weird, especially the dragon. Like, there's a dragon in this movie, and it's like, I'm more of a person who enjoys slice-of-life stuff. It's the reason why I even like this show to begin with, because it's mostly the slice of life stuff that's the part that's really good for me. That's actually why I like season 1 the best, because of the fact that that one was very lower to the ground in terms of the realistic aspect. Obviously, there's a few things that were cartoony about it. I'm okay with cartoony stuff here and there, as long as you make it sort of slice of life and kind of realistic in terms of how you do the stories and stuff. I mean, hell, I would say Gumball is pretty good slice of life. Even though there is a lot of fantasy elements, it still does a lot of things right to make it a realistic show. But yeah, I'm just gonna go through some predictions real quick. Just some predictions. Some of these I made were not, like, legitimate predictions. I just made some joke ones. Like, for example, this first one, Ronnie and Lincoln kiss, even though it's non-canonical, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, it's another thing. This movie is also, apparently, according to people, it's non-canon. Which, heading into it, I thought was kind of stupid. Because, I mean, I think whenever you do a movie of, especially like this type of show, if you do a movie, I want it to kind of be a continuation of the show. The Harold movie did it very well. I know the Rugrats movie, whenever those came out or whatever, they did it extremely well. And if you're not talking about Nickelodeon, Steven Universe did it really, really well. But whenever I watch this movie and whenever I actually see it, it makes more sense why it's non-canonical. I'll get to it more as I actually get to the actual part where I'm actually discussing the actual movie. This is just like the beginning part. But I did get this one right. This one I did get right. It's Clyde appearing maybe once or twice in the movie, and Bobby and Ronnie doing the exact same. I got that right. Clyde appeared twice. Bobby also appeared twice. Ronnie appeared only once, which was something I really didn't expect. I expected Clyde and maybe Bobby, but I really didn't expect Ronnie to appear once. That's really surprising to me. So obviously, Lincoln and Ronnie never kiss. That's obvious. So I'm 1 for 1 right now in terms of the predictions. And here's another one I actually kind of got right somewhat. There is kind of somewhat sadness in this movie. Somewhat. It's very, very low. It's more a thing about the plot. Lincoln feels like he's overshadowed by his sisters, like he's in his sister's shadow, and he feels like that they overshadow him in a lot of ways. Talent, success, etc. Which, heading into this movie, I had a lot of concerns about, especially because Lincoln is Lincoln. He's been established to be a very confident guy, and hell, he's been proud of not being successful. There's been several times in several different episodes where he has just not cared. But this movie did an alright job at kind of explaining why he would feel that way. It did an okay job. So there's 2 predictions, and I think those are the only 2 predictions I got. The rest of them were just kind of like appearance-related ones. Like this one, maybe a guest appearance from one or all of Lincoln's friends. Sid making an appearance. Or Carl, even, making an appearance. Those really don't surprise me. I knew that wasn't going to happen. I just kind of wrote them because I just wanted to write them down. Just because if they shocked us by actually putting them inside the movie, I would at least be able to say, like, hey, I kind of somewhat predicted that. Somewhat. But alright, enough of the predictions. Enough of the fan theory shit. Let's get to the actual movie. Spoilers! Let's talk about the intro of the movie. Let's talk about the intro a little bit. The intro was kind of cool. It basically was just, it was a song. This is a musical. This is going to be full of songs. It's full of songs because it's a musical and stuff. And all the songs were pretty good. They weren't songs I would like repeat over and over and like listen to them over and over. Because really, in all seriousness, I felt like they were there more so as a plot progression type device rather than a catchy thing. For example, Play It Loud from Really Loud Music. That's a catchy thing. But this is just kind of like, oh, here's a song about Lincoln being upset because his sisters are overshadowing him. Just because there's a song there, you know what I mean? Just because there's a song there. Not to say the songs are like terrible or anything like that, far from it, but I don't think any of these songs will really be stuck in my head. Which is kind of disappointing, honestly, whenever I think of the Loud House. Very disappointing. But the intro was good. It kind of just like showed all the family being born and stuff, and they were all babies and stuff. The song was decent, whatever they chose. They had 3D animation, which I thought was really interesting. Like, you had Rita and Lynn, and you saw them, and they were like, it was like panning around them and stuff. And it was really nice how they did that, like a little tiny 3D panning shot. Very, very nice. Just everything looked very nice animation-wise in this film. It looked incredible. Something that I think a lot of people expected, but I was still excited to see that. Of course, the plot, as I've stated, was all about Lincoln. This plot is centric around Lincoln, which is something I really wasn't expecting. I was expecting this plot to be more centered around the family, for sure. I mean, yes, the family does get the spotlight some points, but mainly, let's be honest, it's Lincoln. It's really Lincoln. Which, me, personally, I'm okay with Lincoln. I like him. He's my favorite character. But as a critic, I'm not too sure about putting Lincoln in the spotlight here. I don't know. Whenever I think of the Loud House movie, I think of all the characters now. I don't really think of Lincoln. This could be the script showing his age, because of course, this movie, like I just said, it's been 3 years. So things have changed. That's why I wasn't really too surprised whenever Sid and all these other characters that we know now didn't make an appearance. Because there's a good chance this script was not rewritten. Especially with the way the animation was made in this movie, it does not look cheap at all. It really does not. They really, really went all in with the animation. They really did. And the gags were actually pretty good too. The writing actually felt pretty okay. There was a few chuckle moments, but it wasn't really anything like outlandishly hilarious or anything for me personally. But it got the job done. I felt like the story was more of the real spotlight here than anything else. Let's go and see some other things I can think of. Clyde's appearance was decent. I enjoyed both of his appearances. I kind of predicted it a little bit. Where, like, I knew what his reason why he was going to be there was. And it was kind of cliche, let me be honest. Basically, after Lincoln's song about him being overshadowed by his sisters, he comes running to Clyde. Of course he does. Which is exactly what I thought they were going to do. It was okay, though. I mean, it was good. Clyde did good. He had a few funny moments in this. Especially, I love the part where Lincoln has to tell him, like, because originally it was a vacation to Scotland. Originally, that's what the whole point was. But after Lincoln became the Duke and he became the ruler, they kind of were just like, we want to stay here now. And so they were going to permanently move over to Scotland or whatever. And there's a funny moment with Clyde where he's on the phone with Lincoln. Lincoln tells him, and Clyde is like, he starts smiling. He's like, oh, that's great. Yeah, man, that's so cool. And after he hangs up, he just starts crying into a cake that says, like, welcome home, Lincoln. I thought it was a really, really good joke. Speaking of another really, really good joke around that part of the movie, there's a good one. There's a good fourth wall break joke, which I thought was good. I was not expecting a fourth wall break joke, and this was so well executed. I loved it. It was just, they casually start explaining and talking about stuff. The two characters, the villain or whatever, I don't know what her name was. I actually forgot her name. Damn, I'm sorry, guys. And then the other dude. I'm sure everyone can kind of know exactly who I'm talking about. But they started to talk a little bit back and forth. And during the discussion, they just casually say the lyrics to the Loud House theme. I'm not kidding. They do. They literally go crashing through the crowd halls, dodging girls like ping. They just start singing. They don't sing it. They like say it. Which I liked. I thought that was kind of funny. I thought it was. And even the dude at the very end of it was like, oh, it's pretty catchy. Of course, the Loud Castle like theme or whatever. At first, whenever I heard that in the trailers, I thought it was just gonna be like something that was made for the trailers and nothing else. But no, they had a little bit of an intro sequence near the middle point of the movie where you had that little montage sequence with the Loud Castle theme there, and it was kind of like a redone version of the intro, and I thought it was okay, it was decent, whatever, it's fine, I guess. It was a cool little fan servicey moment, I guess. Bobby's and Ronnie's appearance though was pretty okay. Definitely not as strong as the Clyde one for sure, because obviously Clyde was in the movie a lot longer than both of them, which I kind of expected. Honestly, I'm honestly surprised that Bobby and Ronnie were even in this thing. Honestly, you could cut out Bobby and Ronnie from this movie and nothing really changes. That's how little they do with this movie. But if you, like, cut out Clyde, there's a little bit of an issue there with the story and stuff. So Clyde was definitely a lot more necessary than Bobby and Ronnie were. Bobby is just, like, it's a punchline where, like, oh my god, Laurie's cheating on me with someone in Scotland. And he goes over to Scotland, and you think it's going to be following, like, Bobby to Scotland and stuff, and showing his journey to Scotland. You think, like, part of the movie is going to focus on that a little bit. Only for him to appear one more time, and that is getting onto the island of Scotland right after the movie basically ends. Which wasn't bad, but man, you could have done so much more with that, I feel like. We were missing some Bobby humor. I wanted Bobby humor. That would have been good, some good humor right there. I think we missed out on a lot there. But I do like the little look to the camera that Ronnie does whenever Bobby goes out of the Mercado with the bike. I like that. That was pretty good. Alright, now let's go and talk about the climax, the end of the movie. I was kind of skimming over the plot just a little bit. I'm not going to give you literally everything, because it's hard to articulate through words, especially if something's good, if you think something's good, to articulate with words that type of information versus something like, that's bad. But briefly, I'll just mention the part with Lily and Lincoln at the very beginning kind of somewhat leads into the climax, just a little bit. Where, like, Lincoln and Lily have a little bit of a bonding moment and stuff, and they, like, make a plan together, and it was cute. I won't lie to you, it was cute. It was fun. I liked it. It was neat. It's a shame that's not canon, at least as far as we know, but it is pretty nice, regardless. Because at the very end with the movie, with, like, the villain, and she has Lincoln cornered on, like, a cliffside, and she's basically about to murder Lincoln. I'm not kidding, this movie goes into that, which is weird as hell. Didn't expect that with a Loud House movie, but yeah, the set piece, the climax was by far probably the better part of the movie, for sure. It was good. It was really, really good. There was a lot of action in it. There was a lot of really cool parts in it. And it was cool. I enjoyed it. It was neat. But it all ends whenever Lincoln and Lily, like, work together to try and beat the villain and try to stop her from taking over the kingdom and ruining everybody's lives. They do that. They fall off a cliff. The dragon saves them. The dragon from Dragon Tales saves them. And Lincoln gives the Duke crown up to the man who helped them or whatever and stuff. It was kind of nice and kind of cool, I guess. All of Lincoln's sisters basically begin to, predictably so, tell Lincoln that, oh, you're special, Lincoln. You're a good brother. You're this. You help this family more so than you think. Stuff like that. Which I shrugged at. I was like, yeah, okay. I expected that. That's why I didn't really like this plot, because you know how it's gonna end. You know what's gonna happen. We've already been down this road, you know what I mean? We've already been down this road. And then the movie just kind of ends with the Bobby little punchline that I mentioned a little bit briefly. That was kind of it. And, yeah, I mean, that's really the gist of it. But yeah, that's about it. I mean, this movie's pretty good. It's a lot better than I expected, for sure. I definitely thought the plot was going to be kind of going into it for sure, but, it definitely surprised me in terms of how good it was. If I were to give it a rating, I would say probably an 8 or a 7. I would probably say around there. As much as I enjoy this movie, there's still some issues. Like I said, the Bobby part would have been cool to see just a little bit more of. Just a little bit more of. I felt like you should have done something a little bit more of Lincoln. I don't know if we should have had that whole, like, cliche of, like, oh, I'm in my sister's shadow, and oh, I'm this. It just seems kind of weird for me, for Lincoln. It really doesn't seem like him at all. But pretty good, pretty decent. Way better than I thought it was going to be. Never thought I would have ever said that. Probably like 6 months ago, I thought this was going to be a train wreck, and I thought it was going to be having to give you guys a terrible review. But no, it's good, it's positive, and I'm happy for that. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed, make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, and awesome. And of course, guys, I'll see you guys next video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and goodbye, everybody. I'll see you guys soon. Take care, everybody.